What happens on April 1st, 2022? Well, the Census.gov website has said they're on schedule to release all of the documents to the public. So you can navigate and browse through all of the pages looking for your ancestors. One of the things you're going to have to do on April Fool's Day and thereafter is you're going to have to know the enumeration district number, and there are blog posts that tell you how to do that. But I have to disagree with my colleagues who are spending their time now doing that. And the reason is because I would much rather spend my time not trying to figure out where everybody may have lived, and then it turns out they're wrong, and then I'm browsing. Instead, I want to do something a little bit different. Ancestry has released the fact that they're going to be using optical handwriting technology in order to take the scanned images from the National Archives, read the handwriting, and turn it into a database that we can search. And then, because OCR does have some struggles, the volunteers on FamilySearch are going to then take the index from Ancestry and self-heal it. We're going to correct it, and by so doing, we're also going to be adding a lot more facts into this database and be able to find amazing discoveries, famous people, but also our ancestors. So I invite you to come to this website, the 1950 Census page on FamilySearch, sign up for the updates, and join the volunteer army. Let's see if we can truncate the number of months it takes to self-heal that record collection. So let's do some indexing. When I get to this page, I always go to web indexing. Find a project is a way to tell you a little bit about the projects. I'm gonna find that out by clicking on web indexing, so I often skip this. But if you ever have some questions or you get stuck, here's your help file over web indexing. So click on indexing help. We're gonna click on web indexing. There we go. So we're gonna click find a batch. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to do one that I'm very familiar with. I've done a lot of these, and these are indexed to land records. Now, when you make a selection and you're new to indexing, you will probably only have indexing and not necessarily review, but that may change. If you want to change your difficulty level doesn't necessarily mean that they're complex records. I've found a lot of times they're just harder to read because the handwriting's not so great. You can also change your language. Again, since we're getting ready for the U.S. Census, I would highly recommend we do English, but if you want to practice your Spanish or some other language, go ahead right there. So click search. When you do your parameters. And here's marriage records, and here are land records. I'm going to go ahead and click index for land records. And I'm really lucky. This one is typed. Sometimes they are going to be handwritten. I want you to know how to index, not necessarily the strategies for reading handwriting, but we'll go through a number of features. So one of the things all of the projects will do will have this project instruction box. I invite you to read this whenever you're starting indexing. It will tell you how to index a deed or whatever record you look at. It will tell you things to remember. It will give you some indexing guidelines. I have a video on indexing. I'm just trying to give you a couple highlights. If you want more, be sure to check that out over on my YouTube channel. All right, so should this be indexed? Yes, it meets the requirements of those instructions. So I'll click next, and then I just begin indexing. So here, record month, it's March. And these are pre-designed basically to yell at you when you put in the wrong type of information. So months, they have them already designed for you. Day, I don't have a day. Yeah, no day. So if it's an asterisk, then I need to make it say blank. And what I do is I usually do Control B, Command B, or you can click on this box up here, and that will also make it blank. There's a year. There's no grantor's prefix. It's just Ellie. Oop, let's be careful. Grantee, 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 grantee. Ellie Moffat does not have a prefix. And we just type what we see with the exception of some punctuation. But if you're not sure, here's also a help field. It's specific to the field. So it will tell you, do you do by attorney, et al., and spouse, all of those things. It's going to tell you the instructions for each field. Let me go ahead and do a bit more indexing, and I'll stop when there's something I should point out. Okay, you can navigate on a desktop by holding your left mouse button and on the image and move it left to right, up to down. That's going to be handy if there's a lot of content to look at. Here's your zoom in features, here's your zoom out features, and sometimes you need to rotate an image, or let's maybe make it a little, look at that. I like that better. Make it a little brighter. So make sure you utilize these tools and then just go in and keep typing in what you see. All right. When I got to the end of this box, all I had to do to get ready for the next entry is do tab, and they went forward. Now, if you run out of lines for your document, and you need to add more lines, maybe there's 100 lines. So you notice there's 90 lines pre-designed for this record set because they tend to have more. Then all I have to do is add more entries, and I can tell how many. I need 10 more, I need 20 more, and go from there. If I have too many entries, then I go to the next one, and then I click trash, delete all blank entries, and then I'm just going to have 2 entries or 87 entries. So that's how you can get rid of them. When everything is done, you can click the submit button, and it will go and run a quality check. Now, what happens if you struggle to read the handwriting? I know we all want to write it perfectly. We want the most perfect index because we don't want to be the one where somebody says that indexer didn't know what they were doing. My recommendation after indexing since 2011 is that do the very best you can. It is easier to search a poorly indexed record than to search a browse-only image. So do the very best you can. There will be somebody who does the reviewing. Remember earlier there was review, index or review. There will be people who will do a little bit of quality control and have a second set of eyes on a project. But there are also features on FamilySearch and eventually others where if somebody makes a mistake, then a family member later can add alternative information to that census, and that will get corrected over time. Once everything's indexed, now it's time to go look at that hit list and start looking for our relatives. Use all the strategies you've used before to search for people in census records. In the past, we're going to have to use wild card searches, no name searches, name only, no name searches, age only searches. We're going to have to get creative because there are going to be some flaws and some hard to read names, but it's going to be so much fun that we can dive into them faster and save them to our family tree. So if you'll go over to familyhistoryfanatics.com/resources, you will find a link to a variety of different handouts I've made available throughout the years. But most importantly, you'll find my bonus 1950 census handout, and I hope you enjoy it.